Now, in more performative bullshit that we're going to come talk about, we got Lindsay Graham. Oh, Grammy boy. So why is this performative? Well, let's just get into it. After weeks of insisting that abortion laws should be the province of each individual state, and candidates trying to distance themselves from the most extreme of those state laws, Senate Republicans appeared to be caught off guard by a new bill introduced this week by Senator Lindsay Graham of South Carolina. Graham's bill, the Protecting Pain-Capable Unborn Children from Late-Term Abortion Act, would ban abortions after 15 weeks of pregnancy and include exceptions for rape, incest, and the health of the mother. Now, we all know how those exceptions have actually gone down on the local level. Here in Texas, we've had people almost die waiting on the care that they need in order to save their life because risk to the mother has been not very well defined. What's risk to the mother's life? Is it 20%, 50%, 80%? Who knows? And that's why there has been, afoot. But Republican women and independents who have sided with Democrats on abortion have said they didn't like bills or laws that didn't include said exceptions. His bill also includes criminal penalties for doctors who perform abortions, including up to 5 years in prison. And it's this stuff is why doctors wait out the pain and suffering of their patients to give them life-saving procedures. In a Capitol Hill News conference Tuesday, the South Carolinian Republicans said that the 15-week time frame is in line with scientific data on when a fetus starts feeling pain. Quote, "If you have to provide anesthesia to keep the baby from feeling pain to help save its life, should we as a nation be aborting babies that can feel excruciating pain from an abortion?" he said. But the American College of Obstetricians and Gynecologists says that, quote, "the science conclusively establishes that a human fetus does not have the capacity to experience pain until at least 24 to 25 weeks. And this is based on actual hard evidence of science based on brain development. There is not even the possibility to have a personality or any of this other stuff that Republicans have been used as, like, quote, the human life, whatever, right? The fact that the fetus becomes a person in their mind, or trying, we all know that it's just about it's conception is when life begins, blah, blah, blah. Like they're doing it for moral, religious reasons and their worldview that you don't just kill innocent babies, right? That's what they believe. It's not what's happening. That's what they believe. So all this, we can talk until we're blue in the face about how the science says one thing or the other. It's not going to matter to them. They don't care. They don't. And a lot of them are driven by, like, well, if it's my time to go, God willing, just take me up to heaven, baby Jesus. Sitting there in your crib, I want to join you anyways. So that's why they don't care about the pain, suffering of women going through the process of having to have their life put at risk by complicated pregnancies. The ban would supersede existing state laws that allow more access to abortion, but critically, not those that allow less. To put it another way, California wouldn't get to set its own abortion policy, but Texas would. Graham described his bill as a ban on, quote, late-term abortion. That term doesn't come from science. It comes from abortion political opponents, who have typically used it to describe abortions at or usually beyond the 20-week mark. 15 weeks of pregnancy, on the other hand, is just a few weeks into the second trimester, well before tests can pick up many of the most serious fetal abnormalities. And at 15 weeks, some women don't even realize they're pregnant, especially if they're young or have poor access to medical care. Graham made clear that he's aware the bill has no hope in the current 50-50 divided Senate, but pledged he will make sure it's on the agenda if Republicans win back control of the chamber. Hence, political. Oh no! This is the first nationally proposed abortion ban since the Supreme Court overturned Roe v. Wade. And NBC News reported that it took only hours for fellow Republicans to trash the bill. And the reason they won't trash the bill is because they don't want this issue to be the primary issue going into midterms. They would much rather talk about inflation. Oops, that's going down. Oh no. and other things they think they can win on, crime, whatever, right? But abortion, they know, is a losing issue. They're the dog that caught the car and they don't know what to do with it anymore, people. That's why they're mad at Lindsey Graham here. Right? And Republicans, in that vein, Republicans attack the bill as a distraction that divides the GOP and reminds voters that most of them see the party as too extreme on abortion. Bad idea, said Chris Motola, a GOP strategist and ad maker. It rips open a political sore. The political environment was moving back to economic issues. It further nationalized an issue that works against Republicans generically, he said. Republican candidates and those in the Congress have tried valiantly to distance themselves from what has become a major hot-button issue for the midterm elections. Remember, it's Rove November, as the liberals like to say. Now, Republican leaders, rank-and-file lawmakers, and political strategists are distancing themselves from Graham. Even Senate Minority Leader Mitch McConnell distanced himself from this legislation. Quote, most of can I do the accent? Can I do the voice? McConnell. Most of the members of my conference prefer that this be dealt with at the state level, McConnell told reporters Tuesday. On the other side of the GOP spectrum, Senator Lisa Murkowski of Alaska rejected Graham's proposal, noting her support of federal protections for abortion. Similarly, Senator Susan Collins, Republican from Maine, said, quote, a far better approach would be her bipartisan legislation that essentially would codify Roe v. Wade, the landmark Supreme Court decision that was struck down this year. Now, we know that Senator Lisa Murkowski and Susan Collins talk a big game about, we're actually for abortion. We actually care about keeping this as a right for women. Yet both of them voted for Amy Coney Barrett, Brett Kavanaugh, and Gorsuch. So it's bullshit. Like, this is them trying to thread that needle of like, I'm a moderate, but they're actually just Republicans. Boilerplate Republican on a lot of issues. So yeah, that's another issue. Now, instead of creating consensus point for GOP candidates, Graham's plan puts them on the spot and on the defensive, rather than in a position to attack President Joe Biden on issues that favor them more, GOP strategists have said. Quote, trust me, Republicans want to be talking about economy and Biden, said an advisor to Georgia Governor Brian Kemp, who spoke on the condition of anonymity to reflect the re-election campaign's thinking. Continuing on, he stated, we don't want this debate. It doesn't help. Despite those sentiments, some candidates have now said they back the bill, and Senator Marco Rubio of Florida has announced he will co-sponsor it. And it's exposing, this just goes to show you that it's exposing a rift among the GOP, one that might actually hurt them with their own base. We also need to talk about how this idea that Lindsey Graham's bill basically puts it front and center, that Republicans are like, we just want it to go back to the states. States' rights, people. We want the states to do what they want with this issue, is totally, utterly bullshit. There is not an ounce of truth to anything they say when it comes to state rights. They don't care about states' rights. They don't care about local control. They don't care about smaller government. These are all things that they use as talking points to virtue signal to their people that we got your back, have ours. What the reality is that the GOP is immensely in favor of using big daddy government to smack around its enemies. And that notion that they're actually for these rights, that they actually care about protecting people, that they actually care about protecting states, is utter bullshit. But that's what we're going to say about this part.